Hi everyone, today I will be discussing on my channel how did I go from adoption to IVF to IUI. So if you would please like and subscribe and push that bell for notifications. I will first start off by introducing myself. I am London. Some people call me LB, some people call me Lo. Feel free to call me whatever. So I will first talk about the adoption thing. So around the beginning of this year, I had a friend that said she was looking to abort her baby, but she did not have the money. So what she was doing at the time was she was speaking to different adoption agencies to see who would be best for her unborn child at the time to go to. So eventually she was just like, she think that I should probably adopt. Now me, I'm 32 years old. Having kids were never really in my plan. But I was like, okay, I've been knowing her for a very long time. I'm 32. I'm well established. I definitely could take care of a child. So she was like, would you adopt her? I was like, definitely, I'll do it, because, in the adoption world, you never know how these people are going to treat the child. So many different things going on where kids are being put in dog cages, molested, raped, killed. And, I just was like, yeah, it would probably be best if someone got the child that, she knew and she knew would take care of the child. Okay. So during this journey with her, it was hell. It was hell. I can't make this up. We were helping her with her bills because she ended up no longer working, helping her with her bills, making sure she maintained. She also had a 2-year-old son that she was trying to care for, though she didn't have a job. So we was helping out with him, sending money and so forth, to help out. Because I was going to be adopting her unborn child at the time. She changed her mind a few times because of her family were in her head and they were like, we're going to help you. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And, it was pretty much a whole bunch of nonsense. It was a lot of drama. And then when she changed her mind, I was like, okay, cool. It is what it is. Then she came back and was like, hey, I took some time to think on my own without any other, without any other influences from the outside telling her what she should or should not do. And she was like, I really do want to give her up for adoption. I know that I cannot care for her because I'm not working. I'm not mentally stable. I'm not physically stable. I'm not financially stable. I know that there's no way I can take care of another child the way I'm struggling now, and I still have nothing lined up after the fact. And I was like, okay, I'll give you another chance. Okay, so I gave her another chance. Things were still rocky on and off, emotions everywhere because of her hormones, of course. And her aunt came around and was like, hey, I'll just take her and keep her in the family. And, we don't have to do any paperwork or anything like that. I'll just have her here. And whenever you want to see her or take her or what have you, you can do that. So she came back to me and was like, well, I'm thinking about letting my aunt go ahead and get her so we can keep her in the family because they feel like it may be best, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, that's strike two. I left it alone. I was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm good, okay? Next thing you know, there was some malicious intent behind the aunt, or she was an aunt or a cousin. There was some malicious intent behind that. So she ended up changing her mind again with that. She was like, no. She came back to me and was like, will you please give me another chance? This is 3, okay? I'm like, okay, I'll give you a chance. we'll see how it goes. Now, and the whole time during this entire process, my mother was like, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. I do not think you're going to get this child, but I'm going to support you because you're my child. And I was like, okay, Mom. So again, situations start happening and it was just worse off. She was telling other people that they were the dad just so she can get money out of them. She would be lying to her siblings in reference to what she's going to do, lying to her mom. She would beg me to speak to my mom just so she can get on better terms with my mom because my mom did not trust her at all. So on this third time, what we did was we was like, okay, at this point, I'm getting attached because I've been there since day one of her, since she was like 3 or 4 weeks pregnant. I had been there for her. Doctor's appointments, I was seeing ultrasounds. She was sending me everything. And I was going down to her house and, getting baby clothes. And we was doing so much stuff, that I started feeling like, oh my God, I really want a child. 32 years of life, I never wanted a child until I had the thought of having a child in my hand, being my own, raising one of my own. So this process made me realize that all these years I did not want a child, but now I do. Things can change in a split second as far as your future and what you may want. So with her being iffy back and forth, what I did was I went ahead and started my process with a fertility clinic in Tennessee. It is called Tennessee Reproductive Medicine. I currently live in Georgia, but the reason why I chose that clinic is because it has a really, really high success rate. And I went in for the initial consultation and it was $300 because it was out of network for my own insurance. So I wanted to have a backup plan pretty much. She was so wishy-washy. I felt like I needed a backup plan with me at the time. Now I really want a child. So it's either going to be hers or mine. Regardless, it was going to happen. So after that, she was pretty consistent for some months. Pretty consistent. All the way until she got 8 months. She was pretty consistent. When she got 8 months, it was so much drama going on with her family. The potential baby's father, the guy that she was telling him he was the father, just because she needed him because he was the one giving her money and stuff to help her out with things. It was just so much stuff. She then started getting iffy again because she just didn't know how to feel. It was close to her delivery date, and she claimed she just didn't know how to feel. She didn't know what to do. So I'm like, at this point, this is the 4th time. I don't want anything else to do with this situation. I'm good. I can continue on with my process. And again, she came back. She was adamant. She was serious. She was like, I'm so serious. I'm ready to go to the lawyer's office now and sign paperwork. I was like, oh, wow, really? So though I had my own process going in the background to cover myself, I went ahead and gave her another chance. Being dumb. I don't know why. I went ahead and gave her another chance. And we went to the lawyer's office, filled out paperwork. I paid money to the lawyer, which is not cheap. It is a few $1,000s to adopt a child, even if you know the person. I paid money to the lawyer. We were all set. She was so confident and everything was peachy that I thought, right? So at the end of her 8th month, she called me on a Sunday night and she was like, hey, are you sure you still really want to go through with this? I just want to make sure you're going to be here when I give birth and you're going to be here with me, and you're going to be able to take her home with you that day, or what have you, or whenever she's able to be released. I just want to make sure that you're going to be here with me because I'm going to be by myself. She was like, I don't want my family to be here with me during this time because they're against the adoption. And this is what I really need to do, because I have to look out for my child's best interest and, you know, her having a good upbringing. I was like, yeah, of course, I'm going to be there immediately. As soon as you let me know that you're going in labor, or, you know, whatever's going on, as long as you communicate with me, I'll be there. Okay, that next morning, she went into active labor around 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I was on my way there. I had contacted my lawyer to let them know, hey, she's having the baby early. At this point, the baby was 4 weeks early. My lawyer contacted the caseworker that was active on duty at the hospital at the time. And my friend texted me and she was like, I don't want you here. Don't come here. And I was like, what? Now, what I left out was when she went in labor, she FaceTimed me. Literally. She FaceTimed me in the ambulance and was like, I'm having the baby. I'm having the baby. Come. I was like, okay. So I got a text message and she was like, I don't want you here. Don't come here. I automatically thought, okay, maybe her sister's there because they don't want this. Her sister's there. And I was like, all right, I'm still going to go. So I'm driving. And then next thing you know, I get another text message. Why is your lawyer calling up here at the hospital, coming in here with papers and shit? I was like, what? So at this time, I'm like, okay, maybe this is not her sister. Maybe this is her. So I called to the maternity ward to speak with the caseworker. The caseworker was still in her room speaking with her. They had me on hold. When she came out, she was like, I just finished speaking with her. I cannot disclose to you what we talked about. But what I'll do is I'll contact your lawyer. Your lawyer will contact you and tell you pretty much what was said. So when my lawyer contacted me, he advised me that she did say that she's keeping her baby and she did not want me anywhere near her. I was so in shock. I didn't even know what to think. I was so taken back. Like, I had already invested so much into her financially with her and her son, investing in lawyers, paying lawyers to have things done. And then again, her calling me the night before, literally. She called me on Sunday. She went in labor Monday morning. So I was so in shock and rattled that I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. My lawyer was like, don't pull out. Just give it a few days. I'm sure she'll come back. At that point, I was fed up. I was like, I'm fed up. I'm not going back. I'm not giving no more chances. I'm going to continue on with my process because that's what's best. I don't have to deal with anyone's negativity. I don't have to deal with anyone's family. I don't have to deal with a whole bunch of nonsense that I didn't cause, that I didn't need. I was doing this for you, to help you out, because financially you do not have it. Mentally unstable. She was a complete, that's all I'm going to say. But it's kind of selfish to me in a way, because if you know that you're mentally unstable, you're lashing out, your doctor's telling you you're mentally unstable, you do not have any sources of income, you do not have any family support. Her support was me and my mom. Before my mom even met her, my mom had paid her car note just because she didn't have a job. And, you know, we was pretty much trying to take care of her needs. You get what I'm saying? So I was just so taken back when she went about the situation that way. I always told her, whether she decided to keep the child or not, I would still be her friend. The way she went about it, I couldn't do it. The way she went about it was so messed up to me. It just made no sense. Like, why would you call me on FaceTime in the ambulance telling me to come, you're in labor, and as soon as I start coming, why are you, I don't want you here. Don't come here. Why is your lawyer coming in, having people come in my room and bring paperwork? Oh, tell her that I'm keeping my baby and I don't want her here and she shouldn't be allowed here. She acted like I did something to her. I don't know, like almost like she hated me in a sense. So I blocked her from everything possible. This girl ended up having her baby the next day. This girl called me from 4 different numbers asking me, what's wrong? Why can't we be friends? This shows how mentally unstable she is, okay? Why can't we be friends? I thought you said if I decided to keep her that we could be friends. I said, it's not what you did, it's how you did it. How you went about it was so messed up on so many levels. I cannot forgive that. I might can forgive it, but I will never forget it. But I can't be your friend for the way that you did me. Period. I'm not saying you don't have the right to keep your child, but how you did it was wrong. She was like, I never decided to keep her until the doctor gave her to me and I actually got to hold her. Mind you, the caseworker and the lawyer had already spoke with her before she actually had her baby. Lie number 1. Lie number 2, I didn't even speak to a caseworker. No one came into my room. There was no woman that came in there. Really? I said, I don't even understand how you think that we can even move forward, even if I wanted to give you a chance as being my friend. And you can't even be honest about speaking to a caseworker. Really? Because when my lawyer sent the caseworker the email to let her know that there was an active adoption in place, I automatically got notified. She automatically went into her room to speak with her. Mind you, I did call the maternity ward and the caseworker was in her room speaking to her. She would not admit it. Okay. So I blocked about 4 numbers that day because she just couldn't get it through her mind that we can't be friends. And she just couldn't admit of what she did. And she kept saying, it wasn't even me texting you. It wasn't even me texting you the whole time. That was my sister. That was my sister. Even if it was your sister texting me the whole time, the caseworker spoke to the person giving birth directly, okay? Regardless of the fact. Your sister may have texted, but you verbalized it first to get to the caseworker, to get to the lawyer, okay? We was going through the legit legal way for this entire process. So, that did it. After that, probably about a week later, she called me again from a block number and was still upset that I wouldn't talk to her and that I blocked her and wanted to understand why we couldn't be friends again. And I'm just like, I just don't deal with your kind. I've done so much for you to help you out, to help your son out. You just treated me like I was nobody. You treated me like I was shit. Okay? That's not going to fly with me. Because for one, when you pay a lawyer to go through adoption process, once they've done their work, you cannot get that money back. Understand, no matter what, you cannot get that money back because their job is done. And people have the right to change their mind as far as adoption. Mothers have the right to change their mind, which is completely fine. But you still take a loss because you cannot get the money that you put into it for the lawyers and things like that. You cannot get that back. Okay, so fast forward. after that, I blocked the other 2 numbers that she called from. So this is 6 numbers total in the span of a week that she's calling me from to try to reconcile the situation, explain to me that that was her sister texting me, I don't want you here, and why is your lawyer coming in here, or the caseworker coming in here talking about your lawyer this and your lawyer that, why is he calling up here, da, da, da. That was my sister. But again, mind you, the caseworker spoke directly to her, not the sister. I was like, it's cool, it's fine and dandy. My mom was like, it's cool, we already got something going, okay? So that's that. I mean, the situation is a little longer, but I wanted to try to cut it as short as possible, even though it's not really that short, sorry. But my choice was to go to the clinic and do IVF. Now, I've pretty much been a lesbian all of my life, and some of the questions that the doctor asked me was, have you ever been pregnant? And it was no. Have you ever tried to get pregnant? No. He was like, okay, I would not recommend IVF for you. I would recommend IUI. Now, he told me the difference between the two, which I had already known. The reason I wanted to do IVF is because with IVF, you can do gender selection. But with gender selection, it is a lesser chance of getting pregnant because they use 90%, okay, as we know, as a semen specimen. So a vial of semen, you get 100% semen, sperm. Get 100%, right? Once they do what they have to do to pick the gender for you, whether a girl or a boy, they've used and trashed 90% of that sperm or semen. So it lessens your chances of getting pregnant because it's not as strong anymore. 90% is gone out of that 100. You're only working with a small amount now. So he was like, I wouldn't recommend IVF to you because, for one, you have never been pregnant. You've never tried to get pregnant. They was like, we can do IUI. And if you want, we can do egg stimulation. Egg stimulation is when they give you medication to produce more eggs. But if they do that and they inseminate you, it is a chance that you could have twins or triplets. Now, twins run in my family. So I did not want to take the chance of having twins or triplets at all. So I'm like, no, I do not want egg stimulation at all. The regular IVF process at this doctor's office for the regular, nothing extra, was about $10,000. That does not include other testings before that. So, yeah, it can go up to a good amount. The price that they quoted me for IVF with gender selection was about $15,000, which me and my parents were actually going to split. So it was okay. We were like, okay, that's fine. But having that higher risk of losing the money, not getting pregnant the first time, and trying to do gender selection, it was like, would you rather take that risk with IUI that's only like $1,200 versus $15,000? So I have decided to go forward with IUI. I have my second appointment next week. And after that will be the insemination process. So pretty much the IUI process is very cheap. Sperm is very expensive. It ranges anywhere from about $590 to $1,000 for one vial. And it can go up depending on how much of it that you want. But other than that, I think people should really look at the research because I do know a lot of people are interested in gender selection. Gender selection itself can range anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 just for the process itself. That does not include the IUI. Understand that IUI price and the additional gender selection price are two different entities. So it makes it higher. That's why mine ended up being around $15,000. So with me choosing to do the IUI process, if it does not work on the first time, I'll only lose about $2,000 versus losing $15,000. And we can still go back and retry and not have to pay the total price again. So that is pretty much it in reference to my adoption to IVF to IUI story. After my appointment next week, I will do another video to update you on what happened, as far as what type of testing they did and what are our next steps. As far as the process in itself, if you have insurance, it may pay for some. Unfortunately, I have Kaiser and it is out of network and they do not pay for the actual treatment. And I do want to throw out there, I have not been deemed infertile. I'm just choosing this route because I am a lesbian and I do not want any dealings with any males, period. Okay. Also, funny thing is, I was like, dang, I never knew, I never thought that being a lesbian would finally work against me. And it actually did when the doctor was like, so you've never been pregnant? You've never tried to get pregnant? I'm like, no, I'm pretty gay, you know, in the most professional terms. But yeah, I was like, dang, I never thought being gay would work against me. He didn't recommend this. He was like, he wanted to take the non-medical route with me. He wanted to use as less medication as he had to with me because I guess pure body, never, you know, having that experience to go that route with a guy. So I guess he wanted to take the safest route with me. But he did say that if IUI doesn't work after so many tries, there may be an underlying issue and you may want to do IVF at that point. So I wanted to go with what he recommended because, of course, this is what he do. He knows best. Again, the clinic is Tennessee Reproductive Medicine. His name is Dr. Murray. There are two doctors, one male, one female, both great. And yeah, you guys, so I hope you liked my video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I will answer everyone's questions in a timely manner. So hopefully you do subscribe to my channel and do like this video. I will keep you guys updated throughout the entire process and try to put out content in a timely manner. Thank you so much for watching.